So, we just wanted to give a quick update. We will be going on an indefinite hiatus from the podcast while we focus on work and mental health. Because of that, the special we have been teasing is also being put on hold. To everyone who listened or supported us in any way, thank you. We really appreciate it and we're grateful you've been along for this. We don't know when we'll be back, but if and when we are ready to return, we'll let you know. Until then, take care and thanks for listening.
Order for let's spill the tea. Aw,
Yay, recording, finally. The notes I had for last week.
Hey,
And someone was like,
for last.
yeah. I was like, at Jackson's house, ready to record. And I'm like, where the fuck are you? Because, usually you tell me if you're running late.
Yeah.
So were you just, trying to find a way to tell me that you fucked up?
No, I actually slept through all of my alarms, and you.
God damn.
When you called me, you woke me up, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't think I did." And I was like, I had a really rough week. I'm also having a really rough week. This week at work, I convinced myself I was dying again, but it's okay.
I mean, I kind of cried in front of my boss this week. Because, he immediately noticed that, something wasn't right with me because, I read the stage plot wrong and, mirrored it. So, you kind of know what a stage plot's like, right? So, we make the stage plots from audience perspective, but my brain went and mirrored it, because I was standing on the stage, and he's like, "Are you okay? Something's not right with you." And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
There.
So yeah. I guess that's both of our tea this week is that we're just not okay. We died a little inside. It's okay. But yeah, I have coffee to drink. I know you have coffee to drink because you were very patiently waiting for your coffee. Or should I say very impatiently?
I basically started crying about.
I want my coffee. No, we can't survive without caffeine here. So, all right. Do you want a story?
No, back to sleep.
Well, you get a story. You don't get nap time. All right, take a guess. I already know what your first guess is going to be, and it's incorrect.
Arson.
Incorrect.
Or
No.
theft.
No.
Kidnapping.
No.
Drugs.
No, I don't think you're going to get it, bro.
I don't know. Grand Theft Auto.
No. Do you give up?
Yeah.
This is going to take a while. So I would have accepted a few answers.
Okay.
Stalking, cyber stalking, harassment.
Oh, scary.
So I'm gonna start this off with a little fun fact. And once I tell you this fun fact, you're gonna know exactly what the story is because you saw it on the list and you were very, very confuzzled the first time you saw it. So, eBay was created in 1995 by Pierre Omidyar. Omidyar? I tried finding how to pronounce that name. He was writing code on his personal computer and launched the website as Auction Web. He created this for a, quote, dedicated place to bringing together buyers and sellers in an honest and open marketplace.
I don't think it's honest and open anymore.
Oh, no, it is not. Remember, this was 95. So the first item for bid was a barely functional laser printer starting at $1.
You know what? I'd take it.
Would you like to guess how much it sold for?
490.
Bro, not even fucking close.
You're
You're
$5.
a little closer.
$10.
$14.83.
Damn, I wish.
And it was sold to a buyer in Canada. It was basically like a if you want parts kind of sale. Bro, that shipping was probably $14.83 on its own.
Probably.
So our story begins with the creation of an online newsletter and e-commerce site created in 1999 called E-commerce Bytes, like computer bytes, not like Omnom bytes. This was created by Ina and David Steiner from Massachusetts. So this was originally called Auction Bytes. Of course, over time, names change. We know this, as eBay was Auction Web as well. They offered advice to buyers in the early days of seller platforms such as Etsy and Amazon. So this was a good source to know like where the highs and the lows are in the industry of small businesses. I mean, Amazon is not a small business anymore, but you know what I'm saying. So Ina was the writer and David controlled the business aspects of the site. So David knew all the computer ins and outs. Ina, she wrote the lovely blog. What a sweet lady she is. So this was basically a tool for sellers and buyers to know what changes are being made in e-commerce, like I said before. Yeah. People would reach out to Ina with concerns or issues they are having with the sites. And it was basically just an unbiased site that just speaks for the sellers. Like they were very adamant on staying unbiased. Like they weren't going to be like, oh, I hate this website, I'm not talking anything good about it. No. Sometimes you would get a positive review. Sometimes you would get a negative review of the sites. It's just, they were there to express what other people were feeling, which was a necessity, you'd think. We still have many sites like that right now that tell you like, oh, it's like stocks, kind of, if you think about it. You want to know like when a good time to go into it is. So fast forward 20 years later into 2019, Ina wrote about eBay, which the CEO at the time, Devin Wenig, felt was an attack on his company. It very much was not. I'm going to preface that. She didn't do anything wrong. So this would gain a lot of internet traffic as the site had about 600,000 readers. Well, imagine how many small businesses are out there, like.
Yeah.
So many of the executives of eBay felt under pressure from the couple's posts because they were getting so many negative reviews at this point. So they basically placed the blame on Ina.
She do.
She owns the company. She owns e-commerce bytes. So in April 2019, eBay's chief communications officer, or CCO, Steve Weimer, sent Wenig one of the posts about how much more Wenig makes than the other employees and states, quote, "We are going to crush this lady." Only for Wenig to respond a month later with, "Take her down."
It has nothing to do with her.
Mm-hmm. So Weimer took these concerns to the head of security, Jim Bao, and his team began harassing the Stainers at home and online. So this is why I'm saying it's like cyber stalking, harassment. It's like cyber harassment. Is that even a term? Like,
yeah,
I guess cyberbullying. Like,
yeah, I think.
So it's Weimer texted Bao that Ina was a, quote, biased troll who needs to be, in all caps, burned down. Like, there was a lot of conspiracy going on in this situation.
Well, she did nothing. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, the Steiners would begin to receive packages that they did not order, such as, would you like some of this? This is my warning.
Sure.
A bloody pig mask, live cockroaches and spiders, a funeral wreath, and many large orders of pizza.
Make her a fat pig, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it was
So
like
they're-
it was like a
so they're
we'll
trying
pay.
to-
Yeah. Oh, we'll pay at the door kind of situation. So they were like, we have all this unpaid pizza, give us money. So even porn magazines with David's name on it were sent to the neighbor's house.
That's deleting.
Yeah. So there were even some employees that flew from California to Boston to vandalize the home and stalk their vehicle, which is terrible.
This makes me mad.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's
There's
just gonna
nothing
get
to
worse.
do.
It's gonna get worse. So there was even supposedly a plan to place a GPS tracker, like an air tag, on their car so they could follow them around.
That's like heavily illegal, guys.
Well, that plan didn't go through, thankfully. So even these execs in eBay signed them up for many newsletters that would spam their inbox, like the Satanic Temple, Sin City Fetish Night, the Communist Party, things like that, that they definitely would not sign up for.
What the fuck?
So the Steiners had no idea who could be doing this, so they decided it was time to contact the police.
Yeah.
Good. So as the officer was taking the report, a package was delivered. The officer had them open it with him as a witness. At first glance, it just looked like flesh and hair. Already concerning.
Yeah.
It was the fucking pig mask from the Saw movies. Like the one that the villain wears to torture victims.
Hell no.
Like, I love the Saw movies, but if that showed up at my
I
fucking
don't.
house unannounced, I think I would cry.
I would move out.
Mm-hmm. Also, something about this pig mask from Saw. It was the profile picture of Top Seller 13. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, and I will explain. Who was Top Seller 13? It was a person in this case. They would leave many disturbing, violent messages against the couple, trying to rally people against them. So he was kind of already a suspect in this case because he was anti-e-commerce sites.
Yeah.
So someone had supposedly sent a book specifically to David. Usually these things are sent to Ina since she was the main writer of the blog. And this book was called Grief Diaries: Surviving Loss of a Spouse.
What?
Mm-hmm. The couple was even afraid of someone breaking into their home while they slept. So they slept in different rooms in hopes that one would be in a different spot to get out.
That's horrifying.
Exactly. Imagine, just like, I cannot, I don't think I would be able to live. So, that fear was valid. Because one night at 4:30 a.m., a man arrived to the home and knocked on the door. David was awake because he was so stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably so. He yelled at him to leave and called police. Dead ass, someone ordered a pizza in the middle of the night just to fuck with them.
They're so mean.
What pizza place is open at 4:30 in the morning?
24-hour pizza place.
I don't know any over here. So, even outside of the home, there was a rental van with New York plates camped outside. Which if I saw a van across the street all the fucking time, I think I'd be freaked out.
Yeah,
Oh, I have a neighbor.
happy.
I have a neighbor across the street who's maybe only been here for like 6 months, give or take. Twice already, we've had cop cars camped out in front of their house.
Bro.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the block, too. Like, at each end.
For what?
I don't know. I'm kind of afraid to ask. Because
Oh,
it seems
wow.
like their personal business if, like, they're freaked out that they need, like, a cop car camped out.
Yeah. I'm just
But at least that's
curious.
not a strange vehicle. It's police.
Yeah.
So, Detective John Haswell took the case. So he found out the car was rented to someone by the name of Veronica Zia. Zia. I'm gonna say Zia just because I don't think it rhymes with C. Just saying. They had David and Nina were like, "Who the fuck is this bitch?"
There.
One Google search led to tell that she was an executive at eBay. She worked at
Bruh.
eBay.
So stupid.
So they finally started to put the pieces together. The rental car was tracked down to the Ritz-Carlton hotel where Veronica was staying at in Boston. She never went down to meet the officer, and once the officer basically gave up, she ran out of town. Like, the officer was downstairs, like, "Can you please keep calling her room, getting her to come downstairs?" And then he was like, "I got other shit I gotta do. Like, just tell her she'll come down to the station." And then she booked it. I'm like, "You fucking idiot."
She definitely was not gonna come to the station.
No.
Just pretend that you left and then wait.
So this funeral wreath I told you about that got delivered to them, it was bought with a gift card that was bought 8 miles away from eBay headquarters.
Okay.
Veronica was found buying the gift cards on security footage. And now this case has officially turned over to the FBI.
There.
So this investigation, holy shit, took 10 months.
Okay.
We are now in the peak of COVID, June 2020.
Oh.
When we're still waiting to know if we're ever going back to school.
Yeah, no way.
So a press conference announced 7 eBay employees and a contractor who committed conspiracy, cyberstalking, and tampering witnesses would be indicted. James Ball, the senior director of safety and security, pled guilty April 2022 with 57 months in prison.
How long is that?
That is almost 5 years.
Oh.
Like a little under 5 years. David Harville, director of global resiliency, pled guilty to participation in May 2022 and was sentenced to 24 months. Stephanie Pop, senior manager of global intelligence, pled guilty October 2020 and was given 13 months in prison. Stephanie Stockwell, manager of Global Intelligence Center, pled guilty October 2020, 24 months of probation. Veronica Zia, independent contractor working as an intelligence analyst for the GIC, pled guilty October 2020, 2 years probation and 1 year of home confinement. Brian Gilbert, senior manager of special operations for global security team, pled guilty October 2020, 1 year probation and time served. So, like, I guess he was in jail for a short time. I don't know. Philip Cook, supervisor of security operations, pled guilty October 2020, given 18 months in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release and 1 year home confinement. And Devin Wenig, our lovely, lovely CEO, was not taken into custody and was even able to resign with a $57 million exit package.
Bruh.
So he is living very comfortably right now.
Fuck you. And I
Well,
have some.
right. Well, in July 2021, right after I graduated high school, I don't miss that time.
I was dreading my senior year.
Right? You were like, I have a senior thesis project coming up. I want to kill this.
I wanted to kill myself for other reasons, but
we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, Ina and David filed a civil suit against former CEO Devin Wenig, the former CCO Steve Weimer, the defendants of the case, and the Progressive Force Concepts PFC security firm. The lawsuit claims Wenig and Weimer, quote, provided the other defendants with care, Lanch authority to terminate the reporting of the signers by whatever means necessary, with defendant Weimer expressing, quote, I want to see ashes as long as it takes, whatever it takes. Further claims, quote, all the horrific, vicious, and sickening conduct that followed was committed by employees of eBay and PSC while acting in the scope of their employment under the authority of and for the benefit of eBay and PFC. So this trial was originally scheduled for March 3rd, 2025, little over a year ago. But it was postponed until March 2nd, 2026. I could not find out why. So even with the postponement, on February 25th, 2026, a settlement was decided for an undisclosed amount, but it fell through. The Stainers requested for the case to reopen June 12th, 2026. And obviously that is only a little over a month ago, and we are still waiting to know about this civil suit.
Bruh.
And that was yeah. And that, my friend, was the very, very short story of the eBay stalking scandal. And the fucking CEO got away with it.
Little bitches.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to say, I have never bought anything off of eBay in my entire life.
Me either. They're gonna come after me now that I said these bitches.
They don't work there anymore, so you're good.
The CEO's gonna come after me.
Well, it's a different CEO. You're not calling him a bitch. Or
Well,
her. I don't know who the new CEO is.
I mean the CEO at the time.
Yeah. He got almost $60 million. He's good.
So that means he could send me awful things in the mail if he wanted to.
Yeah. I think you'll be okay. I mean, I just talk shit about them too, so.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was my story.
Yay.
How do you feel now?
Tired.
Literally.
No. That, like, I don't know, stalking scares me, especially since I got, like, low-key stalked.
Yeah. Well, I
like-
have something that might make you feel a little better.
What?
So, the other day...
Is that an avocado?
No, it's not. I'm going to show you in a second what it is. It's just large. So Jackson, Kaylee, and their friend Ray and we went to round one. We got a shit ton of plushies. And then Kaylee and I were like, fuck it, let's go again. Just the two of us.
Okay.
Because we had to do like TSA pre-check and all of that.
Yeah.
So within the first 15 minutes, Kaylee and I are already like holding 5 plushies.
Okay, cute.
So one of them is
that a capybara?
It's a capybara.
In a dinosaur costume?
I thought it was a dinosaur. I think it's like an alligator or a crocodile because of the pointy teeth.
But it's so cute. The capybara.
So I give you the power to name them.
Oh God, that's a lot of responsibility.
We have Crouton, and now we have this guy.
Well, now I need to like take a.
Oh.
I need to think about it. He will be named by
the end of the. Oh, by tomorrow. Okay, we do record tomorrow, so for everybody else, you'll find out in a week.
Yeah. I need time to think.
And
I need to do.
Bleh.
I mean, you could cut it.
But no, I think I would rather keep it attached because so when there were like 2 claw machines right next to each other. The other one had it separated like this. And I was like, how the fuck are we going to pick that shit up? The other one, we were like, let's do that one instead. It's still connected.
Fair.
So, yeah, Kaylee won this for me. Or did I win it? I can't remember. Kaylee and I do really good when we win things for each other. Like, I got her, we have matching what I like to call teddy bears instead of teddy bears. I'm going to show you that one too. Because I got it when the 4 of us went. Kaylee got hers when it was just the 2 of us. And it's a teddy bear.
Oh, that's cute.
She has one that's like a darker pink.
Yeah.
So now we have matching
No, it's
bears.
cute.
Oh, and it's when you come over on Friday, if you want, so soft.
Just squeeze it.
Literally.
Guys, it's gonna be my pillow.
No.
It's not gonna be my pillow. I know.
I was gonna say
guys.
you're gonna feel those buttons in the middle of the night and you're gonna want to die. If you want a squishmallow as a pillow, I can do that. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also really fun teaching Kaylee how to swim the other day.
What?
She doesn't know how to tread water.
So, like, I guess that's fair because I also don't swim that often.
But do you know how to tread water? Like basic human instinct?
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
good.
that's like human instinct though. She doesn't have human instincts. Is she an alien? I'm confused. Is she
Kaylee,
Xavier?
I love you, but
She came from a different planet.
feels like it sometimes. But we love her. No, all 4 of us went swimming together in Jackson's pool, and their dad showed up. And even he like looks at me, he's like, "Please tell me you know how to swim." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can swim." So I'm gonna make fun of her the whole time. Because how I learned to swim was basically being thrown in the pool.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
And that's actually how they teach you at like the swim schools now.
Yeah, they just throw you.
They throw
they're
you
like-
in.
They're like, human instincts kick in. And then if they don't, they're like, okay, time to save this child.
Right? No, it's every time we would pass by a swim school, we'd be like, all right, time to go drop Kaylee off.
She's gotta learn how to swim.
Nah, she can do it. She's fine. She'll
But what
live.
happens if she gets on a boat and then like the boat sinks and she drowns?
That's on her. Forgetting on a boat.
Anyway,
Nah, we'll give her floaties.
she'll have one of the toddler ones. That,
Literally, that like cuff around your arm. That were always too fucking tight.
They didn't actually do anything either.
No, they were just there for like emotional support rather than real support.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, it's only keeping your arms afloat.
Yeah.
Your
But
arms
that
are
way
like
it's supposed to teach you how to like kick your legs in the water and
you can do that with a life vest.
literally. Anyway.
Anyway, since I have a longer story.
Yeah, and you got work and your grandparents' house.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm gonna do my best to stay awake, bro.
it's okay. So we're gonna be discussing another important person, like in the realm of spirituality, kind of like the Fox sisters. But like,
Is it the brothers?
no.
Damn it.
So
Thought it was gonna be like the brothers that were around during their time.
no, I actually hadn't heard of her until like I watched, I think, Ghost Adventures,
It's always Ghost Adventures.
and they were like, "Oh, this girl," but then they only mentioned her. I think they made a joke about her, and then I had no idea who she was. So I put her on my list, and now I'm here. But she's actually kind of important. Like, the Fox sisters were important for like making the foundation of like
Mhm.
modern spirituality. She's important for like science.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember her name.
So her name is Eusapia Palladino.
That's not who I was thinking of. I don't know who I was thinking of, but that name is not familiar.
I know her name is Eusapia Palladino, and she was born on January 21st, 1854 in Minervino Merge.
Damn, 150 years before you.
Sure.
You were born in 2004.
Yeah.
She was 1854. That's 150 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Congratulations, that's math.
That is math, which I don't know. But the reason I can't say this is because it's in Italy.
Ah.
So, Italy. So, she had like kind of a rough childhood. Her mother died when like Eusapia was very young. She either died shortly after childbirth or a couple days after, but it's not like completely certain. But we know that she grew up without ever knowing her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't have her mom. So she was raised by her father, but her father had to work. So like during the day
Makes
she was with
sense.
relatives, and eventually she ended up working as a servant, like
Mm-hmm.
as a child. She was like 8 years old being a servant.
Damn.
At the time, Italy was not like a unified country. So she was born in the kingdom of the Two Sicilies,
Mm-hmm.
which was more one of the poorer places in Europe.
Yeah.
So like most people were peasants. A lot of people were illiterate. Like families had to live from harvest to harvest. They didn't have a lot of food. There was a lot of disease. There were a lot of bandits. People tried to steal your shit. And folk religion, like
Mm-hmm.
spirituality today, and Catholicism kind of like mixed together. So you
Okay.
had like a lot of superstitions. People believed in curses, ghosts, miracles, but they also believed in angels, demons, omens. Like it was,
Sounds about life now.
yeah, it was like all mixed together, which was not common in the 1850s.
No, not one bit.
No. And then children also began working when they were physically able to. So that's why she was a servant at like 8 years
Mm-hmm.
old. Um, so Eusapia said that she literally never played. She didn't have any friends. She had no companions. Her family didn't talk to her unless it was for work. So she literally only worked constantly, all the time. And she would do do farm chores instead of getting an education or like having time with her family. So like she really had all these people around her, like relatives, her
Mm-hmm.
father, like the people that she worked for, but she didn't get any socialization.
Mm-hmm.
So something that's kind of important later on, not really because it means anything, but because someone else noticed it, and it's that she fell when she was about 1 year old, and she hit her head, and
Aww.
it left a permanent depression in her skull.
What the
So she had,
fuck?
so she had like a dent in her
Oh my
skull.
god. And no
So,
one thought that was concern. I mean, yes, this was the 1800s, but
well,
no one thought that was concerning.
I'm sure people thought it was concerning, but like no one really cared.
Yeah,
But
valid.
like she was like maybe a toddler, and her father was killed by bandits.
What the fuck?
Like he was a merchant. So like he was
Yeah.
like trying to sell stuff,
Yeah.
and the bandits were just like, I don't want to buy it. I'm gonna kill you instead. So then her father was killed by merchants, so now she doesn't have a mother or a father.
Alrighty.
So after her father's death, someone that her father knew, like an acquaintance, brought her to Naples.
Mm-hmm.
So she moved from wherever I said before, because I don't know how to say it,
Felt that.
to Naples. And
I'm
then
gonna be
in
honest, I don't think you actually said the town. I think you
I
just gave
did.
up.
I said it, but then I only said it once.
I was gonna say, I don't remember it already.
So in Naples, an upper middle class family or a wealthy family, one of those two, either upper
Mhm.
middle or wealthy, wanted to educate her. So they literally wanted to give her schooling. She was like a preteen at that time, and they were like, "You need some education. We
Mhm.
have the money. You have no parents. We'll adopt you, give you an education." But Eusapia did not like that because she grew up like in poverty. So she did not like the fact that they expected her to bathe every day, comb her hair, use proper table manners, study French, learn piano, learn how to read and write. She didn't want to behave like
God damn.
a wealthy child.
She didn't want to be prim and proper.
So she flipped out and the arrangement fell through, so then she had no family whatsoever. Again.
That was kind of dumb on her part.
Yeah. After that family did try and make arrangements to send her to a convent, but she said no.
Sounds about right.
So she didn't have anyone. So almost everybody described her in a very similar way, which is important for like her later like spiritual stuff. But her personality was described as stubborn, impulsive, emotional, funny, earthy, quick-tempered, affectionate, difficult to control, and she was very uncomfortable with authority, which is probably why she said fuck you to the wealthy family. But she's very out there for the time.
Okay.
So by the time she was a teenager, the spiritualist movement had exploded in Europe. Like there was a lot of it, which happened after the events of the Fox sisters. So their little like famous like confession happened in 1848 or whatever. I think.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Something
But
like
like
that.
something with them major happened in New York in 1848. And that's what kickstarted the spiritualist movement in Europe. And by the late 1860s, there were seance circles throughout Italy. Educated people were experimenting with spirit communication, and mediums were becoming recognized and becoming famous. So Naples had like several spiritualist circles that were active, like every day or every week. So, as the story goes of how Eusapia got dragged into it, is that one evening a group of these spiritualists were preparing for a seance, but their regular medium either just didn't come, was sick, he wasn't available, there was something. And one of the people there said, "Let's ask the servant girl."
Oh my god.
And that was Eusapia.
Alrighty.
She actually said no. She did not want to do it.
Understandably so.
She thought that seances were like frightening. She thought they were stupid and like she did not want to do it. But there are several people that said that she was afraid of spirits and multiple people persuaded her to sit down at the table. Like she was screaming that she was afraid of ghosts and they basically like persuaded her to sit down. She eventually said yes. And this is how the first seance with Eusapia went. So everyone sat around the wooden table with their hands resting lightly on it, classic seance. And then, according to those who were there, they said that the table began to tremble. They heard knocking. The tables tilted.
That's not normal.
And movements, like in the room, were stronger than with their normal medium.
That's not normal.
No. So the experienced spiritualists basically were like, she's a medium. She has to be. There's no way. She made things happen that even our normal medium can't. Eusapia was like, fuck you. No. I'm not a medium. I don't want to do this shit. She didn't want to become famous. She
Understandably so.
thought that the experience was exhausting. She was frightened. And she was a teenager. Like, she didn't want to be doing this. But they continuously asked her to come back over and over. And she kept asking if she had to do it. Like, she literally consistently was like, do I have to do this again? I don't really want to do this. And they were like, yes, because you're a medium and you're special. She basically got manipulated by these bitches.
Sounds about right.
So during the following seances, the reports became increasingly dramatic. So witnesses claimed to observe loud taps that would answer questions, kind of like the Fox sisters. The tables would lift, the chairs would move, curtains would move without anyone near them. They would feel cool breezes. People would feel touched by invisible hands, like they were getting like grabbed, and musical
Ew.
instruments would play by themselves. These became
Spooky.
very classic in her seances, like those kinds of experiences. But like a fucking musical instrument playing by itself, what do you mean? What do you mean a piano started playing?
It's a ghost.
Like, and this girl is like, no, I'm not a medium. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not? But
Girl's
anyway,
doing something.
almost immediately, like literally like a couple months into like her doing these seances, a spirit supposedly emerged and was like the one that would come through in almost all of her seances, and his name was John King. But that was a moniker. Like that wasn't his real name. That's just the name that he gave people. So his spirit name was John King.
Okay then.
But actually, many 19th century mediums claimed guidance from this spirit called John King. So people thought that he was like a privateer named Henry Morgan. Like that's basically the consensus that they came to. But like there's no clear like identity for him. But we know that his name is not John King.
Yeah.
So, according to Palladino's like little seance circle, John King would announce himself through knocks. He would direct the seances, answer questions, explain the phenomena that was happening, and protect Eusapia while she went into her trance-like states. Like if anything was coming towards her, for some reason it just didn't come towards her anymore.
Hmm.
And people said that that was John King protecting her. Don't know.
I don't know.
So, throughout most of her career, she insisted that she was not consciously producing the effects, but that John King and other spirits were doing it. But observers noticed something unusual. Before the phenomena occurred, Eusapia would enter what they called like a trance. And they would say that she became drowsy, she would breathe heavily, she would start swaying, she would partially lose her awareness, speak differently, and she would sometimes mumble unintelligibly. So some investigators believed that these were genuine, like, trance states that were helping her, like, conjure these spirits. But some people were a little skeptical.
Understandable.
So the Naples spiritualist quickly realized that she was not like any other medium that they had known. So there were several things that made her unusual that also attracted other people to her. So she was not refined, she was not theatrical, she was not well educated. She laughed during her seances, she swore, she joked, and she would become irritated if the sessions lasted too long. So she would like do really short like sessions.
Yeah, because she never wanted to do it in the first place.
Yeah. So this rough, spontaneous personality convinced some investigators that she was less likely to become a fraud because she didn't even want to do it to begin with. Like she has no reason to like lie about it. Like they thought, "Oh, she doesn't want to do it. Why would she pretend to have things happen because then people are just going to demand more from her."
Mm-hmm.
So her classic seances took place in like a very ordinary room. You would think that there's not a lot to like fake.
Yeah.
Literally, it had a small wooden table, a couple chairs around the table, curtains, or like maybe a cabinet. There were musical instruments like bells, tambourines, guitars, and accordions. There were flowers in the room. There would be writing materials on the table. Sometimes they had scales, like measuring scales. Don't
Okay.
know why. And sometimes the lighting was pitch black, and sometimes she had bright lights. Like, didn't really matter. But by the late 1870s, Eusapia had been sitting in these private seance circles for several years. She was becoming pretty popular among the people in Naples. Like, she wasn't famous outside of Naples,
Mhm.
but lawyers, physicians, merchants, spiritualists, like middle class people were like coming to see these seances. So, oh my gosh, sorry. I just
Don't you
like,
dare.
no, I like choked.
Okay. I was about to say, you looked like you were gagging a bit, and I was like,
No, I like
no,
choked. So
not today, Satan.
then we have this person named Ercole Chaya or Kaya,
How do you spell
either
it?
one. Chia.
It's, I believe it's Kaya.
I thought it was, but anyway, his name is Ercole Kaya, and he was a physician from Naples who become deeply interested in spiritualism. So he wanted scientific recognition. He was not satisfied with seances that were held among like believers. He was like, obviously, you're going to believe that. You
Mhm.
believe in the concept. So he wanted leading scientists in Italy to investigate Palladino's like seances under controlled conditions. They literally wanted to make it an experiment. And he believed that like if respected scientists witnessed the phenomena, then spirituality would gain legitimacy and like no one could argue about it. So in 1888, Kaya published um basically an open challenge in the newspaper. And instead of asking scientists to believe him, he basically said, "Come and investigate it. We'll prove that it's real."
Of course.
Um The challenge was directed towards one of Italy's most famous scientists, Caesar Lombroso. So I know who Caesar Lombroso is because I have a criminal justice degree. But I'm going to go over who he is for people that
Yeah,
don't know
I
who he
know.
is.
I know Jack.
I was actually, when I saw that, I was like, Caesar Lombroso. I was like, oh
feel
my
so smart
goodness.
for once.
But today, Lombroso is remembered mainly as the founder of criminal anthropology. Um, Now it's pretty much widely rejected because most of its conclusions, like, were very flawed. But in the 1880s, he was very influential. He was a physician, psychiatrist, professor, criminologist, and a researcher. So one of the most important things is that he was not a spiritualist. He did not believe in ghosts. He was a skeptic. He literally publicly mocked seances and considered mediums frauds, which basically made him the ideal person to test Palladino. So when Lombroso finally met Eusapia in 1888, he expected to expose her within minutes, but then he later admitted that he entered the seance convinced that she was another trickster. With the table, it had the room arranged like any other like seance. There was a table, observers. She would sat at the table, but this time she had two people on either side of her to make sure that she was not doing any tricks. And people were paying close attention to her hands and feet. But then, according to Lombroso's like later, you know, account, it seemed ordinary at first, but then the table started to move, and he thought, oh, maybe somebody moved it. But then the seance continued, and then he became like deeply unsettled by like what was happening because he didn't have a scientific explanation for like why things were happening, and he like freaked the fuck out.
As
He said
one would when they're like, fuck, I'm wrong.
like he was like she looks like she's restrained, but the table's moving, objects are moving, I'm getting touched, and like instruments are playing and I don't know how she's fucking doing it. And he was like horrified, which fair. He didn't immediately go, oh yeah, mediums are real now. He was just confused as fuck. And like, that's fair. But the previously mentioned injury, she had a patch of white hair from the indentation on her skull. And Lombroso later wrote that he had previously investigated another medium who had a similar, like, depression in their skull.
Mhm.
And it made him think, like, maybe there's, like, a physiological reason that people become mediums. Maybe this, like, depression in her skull is, like, and, like, that was believed for, like, a really long time. And I
Oh
was like,
God.
there's no way. There's no way that people think this.
No. I don't think that's how that works.
I was like, there's no way people believed that. But over several sittings, Lombroso's position shifted very dramatically. He later wrote that he'd begun the investigation intending to expose fraud, but came away believing that at least some of the phenomena could not be explained by scientific reasons. He didn't say, oh, ghosts are real for sure, but he said, I can't explain this scientifically. And this statement that he made caused an uproar. So now, one of Italy's most famous scientists had publicly said, maybe mediums need to be studied.
Yeah.
So, after Lombroso's endorsement of Palladino, her reputation exploded. And researchers from across Europe wanted to test her. She literally became like a human, like, science experiment. So among these scientists were Charles Richet, Oliver Lodge, and Frederick W.H. Myers. They're just scientists. A lot of them did not have any interest in spiritualism at all, but they were interested in answering questions like, can human consciousness affect matter? Is there an unknown physical force? They weren't asking questions about ghosts, they were like asking questions about the universe. So she became an experiment for these scientists. They came to start doing these observations of her. So the first scientific investigators realized that if Palladino had any opportunity to move freely, then people were going to say that she cheated.
Yeah.
So they began making very strict conditions. They would assign one investigator to each of her hands, would pin down her feet with their own feet. They would mark the furniture positions like you do for like stages. They would inspect the room before and after. They would change seating arrangements between seances, so she was never sitting in the same seat. And they would bring skeptical, like, observers along with the believers to have a mix of people. And these procedures would become increasingly sophisticated over, like, the next, like, decade. Like, it literally influenced how later physical researchers approached investigations. Like, it was crazy. I was like, she literally created, like, specific, like, scientific things. Like,
You know,
ways people investigated.
I feel like with how much she was so like against doing this, I feel like she would be like, it's too much work to fake this stuff.
I feel like it would be, though.
She would be like, no, if that's too much effort, guys. Like, faking it takes way more effort than actually doing it.
Yeah,
Like...
no, I feel like it would. But, like, during these seances where she was, like, restrained, they would still see the table rocking, tilting, lifting, and it would move without anyone touching it. They would feel hands touching them, clothes being pulled, objects would brush against them, the bells, tambourines, and guitars would play. They would have random light just like start. They would have like glowing orbs and like weird flashes of light. But the first major problem with these investigations was her personality because she was difficult. She could be cooperative one moment and then irritated the next. She was playful but argumentative. She was demanding. She disliked strict controls. If the investigators moved too quickly, she complained. If they held her too tightly, she became upset. And
I
it
would
created like,
too.
yeah, but for the scientists, it created like methodological problems. So like a strict experiment required strict conditions, but she would probably refuse to perform if she had strict conditions. So it was kind of like a balancing act of figuring out how to do good experiments with her personality.
Mm-hmm.
So like they struggled with that for a while, but eventually Morcelli arrived. He was a respected psychiatrist who studied hysteria, altered states, psychological disorders, and human behavior. So the first like psychologist to come and like experiment with her. He was fascinated by Palladino because he believed that something was happening with her. Not that spirits existed, but he thought that the human mind could produce things out of sheer will. Like kind of like manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
but like he felt that she was just creating it out of her own will. So then he ran some experiments, published some works, but then a group from Cambridge, like in Britain,
Mm-hmm.
invited Palladino to England. Two of the researchers were Richard Hodgson and Henry Sidgwick, and they approached her with extreme skepticism. So Hodgson previously exposed other fraudulent mediums. So he believed that he could prove that she was faking her mediumship. So the Cambridge investigators became even more strict. They attempted to eliminate literally any opportunities for cheating. They controlled her hands, controlled her feet, inspected rooms, monitored positions, changed seating arrangements, could not turn the lights off, had motion like sensors for the
Mm-hmm.
time. Obviously, they aren't the motion sensors we have today,
Yeah.
but like the way that they motion censored back then,
Mm-hmm.
which is literally basically just like wires,
Yeah.
but like motion sensors.
Mm-hmm.
They were like determined to catch her faking. But they felt that they saw things that they could not scientifically explain as well. But their final conclusion was rather harsh, and they just said she was cheating. They argued that when attention weakened on her, she would use her feet, her hands, or her body position to create different effects. And they believed that her performances were a combination of genuine, like, emotional states with deliberate deception. So by the late 1890s, investigators had noticed something, and Palladino would often produce the strongest effects when the room was darker. The observers trusted her, so they were like believers, and she didn't have as many controls. But when controls became extremely strict, there was not a lot of phenomena. She had a lot of failures, and she had a lot of cheating accusations. And this pattern continued for years. But she like insisted for a while she never cheated, that she like everything was 100% true. Then French scientists became interested. So a wealthy scientific organization in Paris began studying her, and it was the Institute of General Psychology,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously it's in French, but
Yeah.
yeah. So this like Parisian like investigator, they were Pierre Curie and Charles Richet. And basically, they just made even more strict experiments. She literally had no leeway whatsoever.
Yeah.
Literally nothing at all. And after the French investigated her, Palladino was investigated by the Society of Psychical Research.
The SBR?
Yeah.
We're
And
back.
basically, they just wanted to investigate her as well. They were all like, "Oh my gosh, wow!" And this investigation became famous because she was caught cheating.
No! This whole time?
She was caught cheating, but the investigators still debated whether all of the phenomena was fraudulent or not, because they felt that some things she did not cheat on. So they felt that maybe she just exaggerated some of the stuff to make it entertaining, which she is a performer at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
This is the only job she really knows at this point.
like she had audiences. Like, yes, even if some of it is real, any performer is going to naturally want to exaggerate what's happening to make a better show. Like, you just have that instinct to make a better show. So, like, I can't even fault her.
Yeah.
But basically, they concluded that some of it was cheating, some of it was probably real. But then after this, her reputation began to decline. So, the most important figure in her downfall was Everard Fielding. Everard.
Everard.
So
That's a new name.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
That's definitely a name.
Gonna name my first child Everard. Forget Kai. I got Everard.
I don't know how Paul's gonna feel about that, but okay. Maybe middle name.
Hi, Everard.
God, if I tried bringing that up to Jackson, I think he would like just leave. I think he would be like, "This is it." No.
It's fine. It's fine. Now I'm gonna ask Paul about that later. I'm gonna be like,
hey, what do you think of the name Everard?
He's gonna be like, what the fuck?
I hope you know, I now want to title the episode Kai Everard.
Honestly, do it. But Fielding was not a casual believer. He had experience investigating mediums and understood that, like, people cheated. So,
oh my god, Corey, we should name the capybara Kai Everard.
Oh god, no. God,
I don't know how Crouton's gonna feel about that.
I don't like that.
Because this is basically Crouton's son.
Yeah, we need to make a cute name.
Yeah.
But
no, Crouton the second.
With Everard, there was
I can't.
There was Hereward Carrington and W.W. Bagley.
The fuck? What's with these names?
And basically, their goal was to make the most serious investigation possible.
Not with those names.
It was gonna be so silly. But the investigators knew of Palladino's previous tricks that she would use to exaggerate her performances, so they paid special attention to her hands and her feet, but also her knees. And they paid attention to every little movement, even her eyebrows, like if she furrowed her eyebrows.
Damn,
So they
okay.
During the seance, 2 people sat beside her. One held each hand. Her feet were monitored, and the room was checked beforehand. They attempted to make the conditions impossible for her normal tricks that were basically already established. But Fielding and his colleagues reported witnessing phenomenon that they found very impressive. They described objects moving, touches from unseen forces, table movements, strange sounds like little growls or hisses, and apparently objects would just move. They would fly across the room.
Alrighty.
And they became convinced that something unusual was occurring. However, they were not able to come to a unanimous decision. So there was no conclusion made out of that experiment. But at this point, she was fed up. She was like, yeah, it's real. Some of it is real. But also, I cheated. sometimes.
Hey, at least she admitted it too.
And she was like, I cheated sometimes. My seances were inconsistent. Sometimes they failed. Sometimes I was caught cheating. Sometimes I actually produced these astonishing like effects. Like sometimes they were actually real. But also if a seance was going to fail and I had a giant audience and I was making money off of it, I wasn't going to let it fail. Like when it was real, but when it wasn't, it wasn't. And like I'm telling the truth.
Hey,
And
I'm
she
just glad she came out about it, you know? She addressed the allegations.
which like girl, it's the 1800s. Like most people just like zipped their mouth.
Yeah. It's
But
not
then
like nowadays where everything just gets out.
yeah, no. She doesn't have cancel culture yet.
No.
But then after the 1908 investigations, her reputation began weakening a lot. So, several things contributed to her downfall. So, there was repeated exposures. By now, the public knew that she had cheated sometimes, which decreased her validity
Mm-hmm.
because now if you're going to go see like one of her seances, you're going to be like, is this one actually real? Or is this one of the ones that is failing and she's cheating? You would you wouldn't be able to trust her anymore because you're like, am I seeing the real thing or is she cheating because she doesn't want to fail the seance? So then science also changed. The scientific world of 1910 was very different than the scientific world of 1888.
Mm-hmm.
Early investigators were fascinated by unknown
Norn.
forces.
Did you just get like Australian all of a sudden? Or Norn?
But psychology was developing, so people didn't really care about that anymore. They wanted to know more about hypnosis, perception errors, deception. They wanted to know about psychology more than ghosts. And many phenomenon that was once considered mysterious began receiving psychological explanations. So she didn't have the same like wow factor. And then World War One caused a massive surge in interest in contacting the dead, which you would think would make her more popular
Mm-hmm.
because millions of grieving families like turned towards mediums. But it also caused a lot of backlash because fraudulent mediums became a major public concern. So people brought up the fact that Palladino had openly admitted that she cheated sometimes. So people were like, how do I know if I go to her about one of my family members that I lost
Mm-hmm.
in World War One that she's doing a genuine seance and she's not cheating? How do I know? So it just kind of went downhill. She was still performing in the 1910s, but she was not the center of attention anymore. She was older, her health was declining. She wasn't really performing as much anymore. And basically, the European scientific circles that once had her very famous, they moved on. They didn't care anymore. But she died on May
Oh.
16th, 1918,
Oh.
in Naples. That's the day before my birthday. Not the same
Mm-hmm.
year.
Not the same. I would really hope not the same year. Unless you're a vampire and we don't know this yet.
I am very pale.
Yeah, but how do we talk to your parents about this? Being like, hey, I'm over 100 years old. Yeah, you're not. What? How do you explain that?
Feel like I was switched at birth.
I still don't think that's how that works. You would have to be a baby.
I was switched as a teenager.
There you go.
I was just
I
like
didn't meet
plopped
you till
in.
you were a teenager, so
When they moved to New Jersey,
you switched.
when I was supposed to like move in with them, I actually like, you know, just took the place of their daughter. And I just happened to look really similar.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But she was 64 years old. But her death did not end the debate. She became one of the most controversial figures in the history of psychical research.
Hmm.
And there are three broad camps of theories. The believers argued that she was a genuine medium, that the fraud did not explain everything, and that scientists witnessed real phenomena. Her abilities were just misunderstood.
Mm.
Skeptics argued that she was exceptionally talented physical performer. Investigators were repeatedly fooled by her. The conditions were never as secure as they thought they were. And psychological factors influenced the witnesses. And the modern interpretation is basically Palladino was likely very highly skilled in deception, extremely suggestible, emotionally dramatic, and capable of entering trance states where she would basically dissociate. So it basically just was made to look like a seance.
Mm-hmm.
But her importance isn't really like she proved spirits existed. It's more so like she forced scientists to come up with different questions that they had never thought about before. Like, how reliable are eyewitnesses?
Mm-hmm.
How do expectations affect the perception? Because if you go into one of her seances expecting to see spiritual phenomenon and you see it, you're going to think that it's spiritual phenomenon. If you go in
Yeah.
expecting for it to be fake, you're going to find any reason to say she was cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So your expectation absolutely affects your perception. But scientists didn't think about that.
Nada.
So, like, she really is just like a scientific, like, imagine being like the reason that some scientists questioned eyewitnesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But basically, that's the end.
That was a long one. Long
Yeah,
for you.
it was long. But like,
Yeah.
there was just so much like investigation.
I'm dying a little bit. It's okay.
It's okay.
So, because
We're gonna.
we really gotta log off because we ran late due to technical issues today. So,
Yeah,
if someone has to get ready for work, and I have to go run errands, and
I do. So, our TikTok is let's spell the day .pod, and our Instagram is let's spill the tea pod. Your dad doesn't like this.
no, I was about to say we have a different voice for every ending.
And
He complained
Gmail.
about the beginning of the episodes, though, not the ending.
Well,
So it's fine.
sorry.
You're good. Keep going.
And our Gmail is lstt.pod@gmail.com. And you're obviously listening to this on either YouTube or Spotify, so I don't have to say that.
You're listening to us somewhere, so
So,
we spilled that tea, and we're ready to go to sleep.
I can't go to sleep.
I can't either. Do you guys see what I have to deal with? Like, you don't. I'll probably make a TikTok out of this. Goodbye. I'm ending the episode.
Bye.